Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gerbil Vine. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video, and if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button so that you never miss our uploads. As you can see from the title, we're going to be discussing what to expect when bringing your gerbils home. Now, getting new gerbils is such an exciting time for you, for them. There's so much going on in the sense of getting everything ready, getting organized, prepared, setting up your tank, sanitizing all the items, and actually getting your new gerbils. I will always advocate for gerbils from ethical breeders or rescues or shelters or private adoptions rather than pet stores. That topic is quite a controversial issue and something that we're not going to get too deep into today, but it's a globally known fact that pet store animals don't come from the best conditions. So once you find your new gerbils, do some research, set up their new home, you'll need some sort of carrier or small tank to bring with you to pick up your gerbils. The breeder I got my boys from actually recommended bringing a shoebox because they were so tiny and so small and it wasn't a very long car ride. So that's what I ended up doing. I just poked like a ton of holes in the top of the shoebox lid and it was okay for the short drive home. If you do want something more secure, or if you are traveling by yourself, there are various carriers out there, or you could even use like a small tank with a lid. It's a good idea to ask for, if the breeder or the place where you're getting your gerbils from doesn't already offer it, to ask for some of the bedding that your gerbils have currently been using. This way you can add a familiar scent to their new environment. This is extremely important for gerbils as they use scent to associate things. So if you have two new gerbils in a new environment with no familiar scents, it's always a risk that your gerbils might not recognize each other. So having some bedding that they've currently been living in to add into their new environment can be a really great thing for them. If your gerbils are coming from a smaller environment, it's a great idea to upgrade them slowly. For example, my boys came from a 20-gallon tank that they were living in with their siblings. So when I got them initially, I had them in a 20-gallon tank for, I believe, just under 2 weeks to monitor them, make sure everything was okay, and see how they were and see how they were interacting with each other, because as a new gerbil mom, all of those things are super nerve-wracking. But once I saw all was good, I quickly upgraded them to a larger home. And they've been in my 40-gallon now for just over a year without any issues. A 20-gallon tank was encouraged to me by many people, but that's a video topic for another day. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I don't recommend permanently housing your gerbils in a 20-gallon. I actually don't recommend permanently housing your gerbils in anything smaller than a 40-gallon tank, as I really think that 648 square inches of floor space is the bare minimum for your gerbils. So if your gerbils do come from a smaller environment, it's a good idea, if you're going to give them a massive upgrade, to gradually increase the items that you give them over time. So you would increase the amount of bedding, the amount of bendy bridges, hidey houses, the amount of enrichment items, all of that type of stuff is something that you would gradually increase as the weeks went by. And it works as a really great transition. You can still give them enough bedding to make burrows, and you can still give them enough chew toys to keep them busy, but throwing them into a massive new scent-free environment can actually be more harmful to them. Gerbils in a new, large, scent-free space can become quite territorial and begin marking items or blocking or bullying the other gerbil from using certain items in the tank. You definitely don't want to begin your gerbil journey with a declan, so I always think it's better to err on the side of caution. Once your gerbils are in their smaller, new, temporary home, it's a good idea, and I know it's something that's really hard to do. Really, I promise, I get it. But you should leave your gerbils alone. Of course, if they need assistance or human help or maintenance or something like that, then by all means go in and help your gerbil. But other than that, don't interact with them at all. This is important because moving is stressful for everyone, including gerbils, so it's best to wait 24 to 48 hours before you begin interacting with your gerbils. It's a good idea to let them figure it all out themselves, find a safe place to nest before they begin exploring. Gerbils are super cute and busy and fast when they are small, and it can be extremely tempting to just sit there and watch them through the glass, but don't do it. Your new gerbils will be unsure of their environment and everything around it, including you, who will initially be perceived as a threat who is constantly staring and watching them through the glass. It's best to place their home in a quiet, low-traffic room for 24 to 48 hours, as this gives your gerbils the best chance at being confident in their new environment before you begin interacting with them. After the 48 hours are up, you can begin loving on your gerbils. When my boys were super young, like 10 weeks old, small little gerbil young, I ended up buying them a play pool from PetSmart because I thought it could work really well to help us try to bond, as well as giving them some time out of their tank, as it was on the smaller side like I mentioned. So I set it up in a bedroom, filled it with bedding and toys, and began our bonding journey. Young gerbils are quite active and busy, like I did mention, so it wasn't during this period that we formed our super bond. It was more during this time that they got used to my hands being around them without like running and darting away quickly and scared. It did work really well actually, because anytime my hand would go into their tank, they would get quite spooked, but when I would put my hand in like the play pool, they would be a lot more calm and like chilled out. I think having them in a different, new, fun environment allowed them to be a bit more confident, and after that they were much more active and just wanted to keep exploring. You don't have to use a play pool for your gerbils. My guy Jerry actually very quickly learned how to jump on the rim of the play pool, so I ended up converting my bathtub into like a play area for them, complete with bedding of course. And now if I let them free roam, I just let them use the entire bathroom. Everything is new and scary for gerbils. Unfortunately, they are a prey animal, which means that they are always nervous and unsure of situations. With patience and dedication, you can get to a place with your gerbils where they hear your voice and come out, where they will sit in your hand and eat a treat happily, and where they trust you enough just to hang out while you're living your life beside them. That is the most rewarding part of owning gerbils, in my opinion, or any animal for that matter. It's having that trust and that bond with them that no one else has. And it's just such an amazing feeling. To know that an animal that is predisposed to be scared and fearful can actually be quite confident when interacting with you is such a rewarding thing. Being able to connect with your gerbils is a process that takes a very long time, so don't be discouraged because no progress is too small with gerbils. With that, we conclude what to expect when bringing your new gerbils home. Thank you all so much for watching. Before you click off, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you. Bye.